Welcome to Mega ResoFAST paper discussion. I'm Vamsi. We'll be discussing physics class 10th today. Well, the first question is a man standing at rest at the center of a perfectly smooth horizontal ice surface, frictionless ice surface with no friction to push against, meaning you cannot walk on ice, right? You need friction to walk. Friction is a helping force for walking. He must reach the other shore using only one principle, which of the Newton's law explains how he can propel himself to the safety. Okay, he's in the middle of the ice slab and he have to use any of the Newton's law to propel himself to the shore. So obviously, first law of motion talks about inertia. So he is at rest, he will be at rest. So first law of motion doesn't work. Second law of motion talks about a force changing the momentum. Yeah? Changing a force changes momentum in a person, and there's no force in the first place. So second law of motion will also not work. And he can only use third law. So imagine you're in a ice slab and you're helpless trying to go to the shore. So only thing you can do is take out your shoe and you can throw it in one direction so that you can use equal and opposite reaction, right? Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So force you apply on the shoe will also shoe also will apply the same force on you. There comes the force, and with that force, getting that little impulse, you can attain a velocity, propelling yourself towards the shore. So correct answer is Newton's third law of motion. Second question. A sound wave travels from heavily populated region into a completely population-free area. As it crosses the boundary, which of the following properties of the waves remains unchanged? Which of the following properties of the wave remains unchanged? So we have amplitude, velocity, frequency, and wavelength. Which of the properties which are unchanged in a wave? Okay, so a wave is traveled between two different regions, right? Two different regions. Okay, so when a wave travels from one medium to other medium, one region to other region, its amplitude might change, velocity might change, and wavelength might change, but not frequency. Okay, but not frequency. Frequency will be constant. What is the formula? Velocity is equals to frequency into wavelength. And always frequency of any sound wave will always be constant, whereas wavelength and velocity change accordingly. We might have known, but in a denser medium that velocity decreases, that implies even wavelength decreases, but not frequency. Frequency always remains constant. A ball of 4 kg is thrown at an angle 30 degrees. A ball of 4 kg is thrown at an angle 30 degrees. And the ball weight is 4 kg. Okay, it's thrown at an angle 30 degrees to a horizontal, 30 degrees to horizontal, with the initial velocity of 20 meter per second. Okay, 20 meter per second. Right. Okay. At what height does the total kinetic energy of the ball loses exactly 1/4 of its initial value. So kinetic energy initial this initial kinetic energy, let's say I initial kinetic energy Ki of the board, okay, and the final kinetic energy is 1. They said what? Kinetic energy loses exactly 1/4 of its initial value. So 1 minus 1/4 of the initial value, initial kinetic energy. That is exactly 3/4 of the kinetic energy is there. At that moment, what is the height they're asking? So is it anywhere related to the motion or directly work energy we can do? Right? So potential energy, mechanical energy doesn't depend on the path. This is the path it takes, the projectile. Yeah. The energy does not depend on the path. So we can directly use the energy concept and directly calculate. Okay. What is the initial kinetic energy? Mass is 4 kg, half mv square, half mass is 4 kg, 4 kg into velocity is 20 meter per second. 20 meter per second whole square. Okay. And this will be half and 4 gets cancelled, 2, and this is 400. 2 into 400, that is equal to 800 joules. This is the initial kinetic energy the ball had at the initial point. After projecting, at which time, at which height, let's say at this height, it has some kinetic energy. It has kinetic energy. Final is what we're discussing. They're asking height at this point, right? So they're telling you to find the height. Okay. So mechanical energy is always conserved in work energy, right? Mechanical energy is potential energy plus kinetic energy, right? So whatever decrease in potential energy happen, it is converted to whatever decrease in kinetic energy happen, it is converted to potential energy. Simple. So if it is constant, what is initial? Initial was K E I plus potential energy at initial point, okay, is equal to 800 joules plus 0. Potential energy is 0. Later on, it became 3/4. 3/4 meaning? 3/4 meaning? 3/4 of initial kinetic energy is how much? 6. 3/4 into 800 joules is 600 joules. Okay. So if final kinetic energy is if final kinetic energy is 600, what is final potential energy? Right? That's what we need to find. Right? So 800 joules is equals to 600 joules plus what? the potential energy gained, right? And that implies potential energy gain is 200 joules. Okay. The gain in potential energy in this process, when the kinetic energy is lost by 1/4, that 1/4 of the energy is gained by the ball itself as in terms of potential energy, and that is 200 joules. Okay. And then what will be the height? Potential energy formula is mgh. Right? And from h we can find height. H is height. Right? So that implies h is h is potential energy by mg. Let's take g as 10. So it will be potential energy is 200. Mass is 4 into 10. G is 10 meter per second. So 200 by 40 is 5 meters. Okay. All right. So at height 5 meters, the ball loses 1/4 of its energy. Okay. And converts into potential energy. So answer is 5 meters. Next question. Okay. This is a simple question. A person standing in front of a mountain claps his hand and hears an echo after 4 seconds. A man stands in front of a mountain and claps his hand and hears an echo of 4 seconds. The sound travels from the person to the mountain and reflects back to him. That is what echo means, right? When you hear a sound repeatedly by reflection, when you clap, you hear an echo of your clap, right? That is basically sound reflecting and coming back to you, right? Reflects and comes back to him if the speed of the sound is 340 meter per second. Speed is directly given. 340 meter per second is speed of the sound. Calculate the distance between the person and the reflecting mountain surface. Okay. We need the distance between the person and the mountain distance. Right? How far is the mountain? Assume the air is still and the mountain acts as a hard reflecting surface. And yeah, mountain do act as like a hard reflecting surface, right? And what is the distance? A simple velocity solving, we can do it directly, right? By just solving the velocity. You see, speed of sound is 340. Speed of sound is speed of sound is 340 meter per second. Okay. And how much time it took for him to listen the echo? 4 seconds. Okay. So it took 4 seconds to go to mountain and come back. So how much distance it covered? Distances 2D. Time 4 seconds. Right? So we need to find the distance. How much distance it is there between the man and the person. So directly substitute what is speed. This is speed, right? Speed formula is distance by time. Okay. What is the distance it had? 2D by time taken 4. Okay. This is equal to 340 meter per second is the speed of the sound, right? So d by 2 is 340, then that implies d is equals to 680. meters. Right. So the mountain should be at 680 meters so that the sound travels almost double the distance. It's almost 1360 meters. 1360 meters, it travels for 4 seconds, right? If it has 340 meter per second as its speed, in 4 seconds it travels 1360 meters. That implies distance between the man and the mountain is 680 meters. Okay. Priya carries a school bag of 5 kgs on her back and walks 300 meters along a flat level road. What is the work done by her against the gravitational force? What is the work done by her against the gravitational force? What is the work done? Yeah. Against what? Gravitational force. Against gravitational force, what is she doing? She's lifting the bag, meaning applying the force upward, right? Applying the force upward. And what is the displacement? What is work? The work done is what? Work done is force into displacement, right? Work done is force into displacement. Okay. And what is the displacement she traveled? Okay. Force is how much? Force is the weight of the bag, which is 5 kg into g, 10 meter per second. Right? That is 50 newtons. And displacement is 300 meters. Right? So, force into displacement should be the work done by her. But remember, the displacement should be always in the direction of the force. Okay. If suppose she climbed a ladder of 300 meters, the displacement in the same direction, the work is done. You can manipulate. If the displacement is in perpendicular direction, the work done is 0. Okay. If she climbed a ladder for 300 meters, definitely the answer would be this, 15,000 joules. But she walked straight on a horizontal surface and hence displacement is perpendicular to the force applied. Okay, next question. A racing car is traveling at 24 meter per second along a straight track. When the driver suddenly applies brake before a sharp turn, the brake produces a uniform deceleration of 8 meter per second. Okay. So, a car which has initial velocity 24 meter per second applied brake, started applying brake, okay, of acceleration, deceleration or acceleration in the negative direction, which is 8 meter per second square. Yeah. The car takes exactly 3 seconds to come to rest, complete stop. Calculate the distance covered by the car from the moment it applied brake. From the moment it applied brake, we need to calculate at what distance the car came to rest. Okay. And so we need to calculate distance s. Yeah. And we know initial velocity. We know it is a constant acceleration. And we know final velocity. Which equation of motion can we use? We need to find s. We have initial velocity 24 meter per second and acceleration will be 8 meter per second square. Okay. And final velocity 0. So which equation of motion, we can use equation of motion because it's a constant acceleration, but which equation of motion is perfect for solving this? And that is v square minus u square is equals to 2s. We have all the terms here and s also. We just need to find s. So s is basically v square minus u square by 2a. Okay. That implies, what is final velocity? Yeah. What is final velocity? 0. Minus, what is initial velocity? 24. 24 whole square, right? By what is the acceleration? Acceleration is c, it is in negative direction. It is in this direction and acceleration is in negative direction. So this will be, basically it is decelerating. So this will be minus 8. Yeah. So 2 into minus 8, right? What is 24 square? 24 square would be 476, I suppose, right? 16, 576, right? 576 by 2 into minus 8, right? Minus 576. Or we can rather do like 24 into 24 by 2 into minus 8, minus 24 into 24, minus minus gets cancelled. Okay. 4 and 24 gets 8 and 24 gets cancelled, in fact, and it is 3 8s are 24, and 2 and 24 gets cancelled, it is 12 times, right? So what is the final answer we get? 36. 36 is there. So it covers 36, it had to cover 36 meters to come to rest, to come to velocity 0. 36 is the right answer. Now, a dense metal sphere is released from rest at the top of a tall building. Okay. It falls freely under gravity with no air resistance. What is there's no air resistance basically. What is the ratio of distance covered in first second, third second and fourth second of fall? Okay. Initially, the steel sphere initial velocity is 0. It's falling due to acceleration due to gravity, right? It is falling. What is the displacement in first second? It is okay, let's say d1, okay. Displacement in first second, displacement in second, and displacement in third, so on, right? So how do we find displacement? What is the formula? It is under constant acceleration, so you can use equations of motion and under constant acceleration, and we can directly use displacement equation here. S equal to ut plus half a t square, right? And what is displacement for first second? That is u is 0. U is 0, and acceleration is 10, half 10 in first second is 1 second, right? Time is 1 square. So this will be 5 meters. Yeah. And what will be the velocity? Here initial velocity will become u plus 80. Yeah. That implies initial velocity is 0. U is equals to 0 plus, this is U at 1 second, U1, initial velocity at first second, is initial velocity at 0 second plus 80. That implies initial velocity of first second will be 0 plus 10 into 1, which is 10. 10 meter per second, right? So S2 will be, so S2 is a distance not from this point to this point, it is distance from first second to second second. Right? After 1 second, what is the distance covered in the second second? So we need to take that initial velocity at this point and do the same equation, right? S2 will be, what is the initial velocity? 10. 10 into 1, right? For next 1 second we are finding the distance, right? Plus half 10 into 1 square, nothing more to do, and this will be 10 plus 5, that is 15 meters, right? And S3 will also be, let's find velocity, initial velocity at second time, initial velocity at this point, that is again U plus 80, U1 plus 80, that implies that is equal to 10 plus 10, that is 20, right? Keep. So, yeah, right. This is initial velocity of a second is 20. Okay. Initial velocity at second is 20, right? 20 meter per second. Okay. And you can imagine it has acceleration due to gravity is 10. So first second will be 10, 20, 30, 40. So we'll stop doing this again and again. So S3 will be 20 is its initial velocity, right? 20 meter per second into 1 second. For the next second, we'll calculate the distance, half 20 into 1 square. Again, this will be how much? 30. Similarly, S4 will also be 30, will be the third velocity, no? Third initial velocity. After 3 seconds, the initial velocity will be 30. So 30 into 1 plus half, and this will be 10, sorry. So this will be 35, right? 20 plus 5. Every time plus 5, because half 10 into 1 square is always 5. Yeah. Again here also half 10, 1 square. So that implies this is 25 and this will be 35, right? So what is the ratio? S1 is to S2 is to S3 is to S4 will be 5 is to, next is 15 is to 25 is to 35. That is 5, cancel all 5's in it. It is 1 is to 3 is to 5 is to 7. That is your answer. Okay. Now let's welcome chemistry sir to discuss the chemistry paper.
Hi, this is Narasimharaju, faculty in chemistry. Let us continue the discussion of chemistry part. The question is, while exploring a secret treasure cave, Sheen discovered an old paper near a locked door. The paper carried the following message. Some information is given in the paper. Choose the crystal among the four crystals placed before the door that contains the highest number of atoms to unlock the door. That means we need to find the number of atoms present in the given samples. This question is completely based on mole concept. The first option is 1 mole of hydrated sodium carbonate. How many atoms are there in 1 mole of hydrated sodium carbonate? Number of moles is 1. Number of atoms in one formula unit is 2 plus 1 plus 3, that is 6, plus 10 into 3, that is 36, into Avogadro's number, that is Na. That is 36 into Avogadro's number of atoms are present in 1 mole of hydrated sodium carbonate. The next one is 0.25 moles of magnesium sulfate. Number of moles is 0.25 and number of atoms in one formula unit is, let us see, 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 4, 6, 6 plus 7 into 3. 7 into 3, that is equal to 6 plus 7 into 3, that is equal to 6 plus 21, that is 27. So number of moles is, number of atoms is 0.25 into 27 into Avogadro's number. Zero 0.25 into 27 is approximately 7. This is approximately 7. Approximately 7 into Avogadro's number. Next one is 64 grams of hydrated copper sulfate. 64 grams, let us find the number of moles in 64 grams of hydrated copper sulfate first. The formula of hydrated copper sulfate is CuSO4 5H2O. The formula mass of or formula unit mass of hydrated copper sulfate is, atomic number of copper is 64, atomic number of sulfur is 32 and 4 into atomic number of oxygen is 18 plus 5 molecules of water, 5 into 18 into 16, that is 64 plus 32 plus 4 16s are 64 plus 5 18s are 90, that is 64 plus 64 128, 128 plus 32 160, 160 plus 90 250. Formula mass of copper sulfate is 250, number of moles is 64 by 250. This is approximately, or this is equal to, let us multiply by 4 by numerator and denominator. 64 into 4, 256, 256 by 1000, that is 0.256 moles. 0.256 moles into number of atoms in each mole is 1 plus 1 2, 2 plus 4 6, 6 plus 5 into 3, 6 plus 15, that is 21 into 21 into Avogadro's number. that is equal to 0.25 is 1 by 4 into 21, approximately it is 5. It is approximately 5 into Avogadro's number of atoms. Let us go to the fourth one. 10 grams of calcium sulfate dihydrate. Let us find the formula mass of calcium sulfate. Atomic number of calcium is 40. Atomic number of sulfur is 32. And 4 oxygen atoms are there. 4 into 16 plus 2 water molecules are there. 2 into 18. That is 40 plus 32 plus 48 plus 2 into 18, 36. That is 38 plus 42, that is 80. 80 plus 40, 120. 120 plus 36, 156. Number of moles is 10 by 156. That is equal to 0.06 approximately. 0.06 moles into number of atoms is equal to 0.06 into what is the number of atoms in each mole? 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 4, 6, 6 into 2 3s are 6, 6 plus 6, that is 12. 0.26 into 12, that is 0.72 into Avogadro's number, that is 0.72 into Avogadro's number. Let us compare these four values. For sodium carbonate, the number of atoms is 36 into Avogadro's number. For magnesium sulfate, the number of atoms is 7 into Avogadro's number. For 64 grams of copper sulfate, the number of moles is approximately 5 into Avogadro's number. And for 10 grams of calcium sulfate, the number of moles is approximately 0.7 into Avogadro's number. Which one is having highest number of atoms? 36 into Avogadro's number is the highest number. So option 1 is right. Option 1, that is 1 mole of sodium carbonate and decahydrate contains more number of atoms. So 1 is in option C. So option C is right for this question. Next question. Consider the following. The symbols of the elements are hypothetical, not real. They are named as P, Q, or S. Mass numbers and the number of neutrons are given. Let us find the number of protons. Let us make another column, number of protons. Number of protons is equal to mass number minus number of neutrons, that is 35 minus 18, that is 17 for the first one, that is P. For the second one, 39 minus 20, that is equal to 19. For the third one, R, 37 minus 20, that is equal to 17. For S, 35 minus 17, that is equal to 18. What is the question? Choose the correct option from the following that includes the set of isotopes. Isotopes are the atoms of the same element, that means they contain the same number of protons. So among these, the samples or the elements which contain the same number of protons are this one and first one and third one. The first one is P and third one is Q. So P and Q are the isotopes. The correct option is P and Q, not P and Q. P and R is the R are the isotopes. So the correct option is B. Isotopes are the elements containing the same number of protons. P and R are containing 7 protons. P and R are containing the same number of protons. So P and R are the isotopes. So the correct option is option B. Next question. Chromatography is used to find out a band dye P is present in foodstuffs or not. The results are shown in the diagram. Which foodstuff contain P? Let us take the foodstuff P. P has given 2 spots at certain distances. These are the spots given by P. And A, B, C, D are given the spots. A gave 2 spots. One is matching, only one is matching. This is not matching. For B, 3 spots are obtained. Both the spots in the P are matched with the spots in B. In the same way, both the spots in P are matched with the spots in C also. And only one spot is being matched with spots in D. So both the spots of B and C are being matched with the spots of P. So the correct options are B and C. Where are B and C? B and C. So correct option is D. Let us go to the next question. A certain acid releases 2 hydrogen ions per molecule. That means let us go to the next question. A certain acid releases 2 hydrogen ions per molecule. That means it is a dibasic acid. The hypothetical formula of the dibasic acid is H2 and anion is given by the acid. So H2N. So the valence of N is equal to 2. Certain base releases 1 hydroxyl ion. Its hypothetical formula is MOH. So valence of M is equal to 1. So the formula of salt formed will be M, N, their valences are 1, 2. After interchanging the valences, we get M2, N1, that is equal to M to N after neglecting 1. So the formula of salt is M to N, that is option C is right. Next question is, a mixture contains 4 substances K, L, M and N. Their solubility in ether and water are given below. K is insoluble in ethanol and soluble in water. L is insoluble in ethanol and soluble in water. M is soluble in ethanol and insoluble in water. N is soluble in both ethanol and water. A student performs the following steps. The mixture is added to ethanol and stirred well and filtered. Mixture is added to ethanol. So which substances will be soluble? In ethanol, M and N are soluble. When the mixture is added to ethanol, these two are soluble and filtrate contains M plus N and the residue contains K and L. A residue contains K plus L. Then what happened in the next step? The solid left, that is residue. on the filter paper is then added to water, stirred well and filtered again. Among K and L, which is soluble? L is soluble and K is insoluble. So L goes to filtrate again. L goes to filtrate. The next step is the filtrate obtained is evaporated to dryness, leaving a white solid. When the filtrate containing L is evaporated, we get L only after drying. So the correct option is L, that is option B. The next question is decode the element symbol. Which statement about element X1327 is correct? An atom of X contains 13 protons and 13 neutrons. An atom of X contains 27 protons and 13 electrons. X forms an ion by gaining electrons. X contains 27 nucleons and 14 neutrons. Let us analyze this. This symbol of nuclide is 1327. This is showing that number of protons is equal to 13. Number of nucleons. Nucleons means protons plus neutrons together. That is equal to 27. Number of neutrons is equal to 27 minus 13, that is equal to 14. Number of protons is 13, number of nucleons is 27, number of neutrons is 14. So what is given here? X contains 13 protons and 13 neutrons is wrong. X contains 27 protons and 13 electrons. Number of electrons is same as number of protons in the atom. So this is also not right. There are 13 protons and 13 electrons only. X forms an ion by gaining electrons. There are 13 electrons in the outer shell. The electronic configuration of element with the atomic number 13 is 283. It is a metal. Metal tends to lose electrons. So it loses 3 electrons in the outer shell. It doesn't gain electrons. So third option is also wrong. X contains 27 nucleons, that is protons and nucleons together, that is 27, and 14 neutrons. So option D is right. Next question. Energy in or energy out. Consider the following interconversion of states of matter. Solid changes to liquid state. Solid changes to liquid state on heating. Liquid changes to gaseous state on heating. When gas is cooled, the liquid is formed. When liquid is cooled, a solid is formed. So in the processes 1 and 2, heat is absorbed. Heat is absorbed. That means processes 1 and 2 are endothermic in nature. In processes 3 and 4, heat is released. That is, processes 3 and 4 are exothermic in nature. The question is, which of the above changes is exothermic? So, the processes 2 and 3 are exothermic in nature. So correct option is option C. The biology teacher will continue the discussion.
Okay. Hello everyone. Myself Dr. Gunjan and I am here to discuss the biology exam which you have given right now. Okay. So let us move with the first question. Okay. So the first question was related to the plant cell. Okay. What is cell? Cell is the structural and functional unit of the life, right? Now they are asking for the plant cell, right? So now let us see the diagram and understand the parts here. They have labeled P, Q, R as something. So let us see. So this P is what? P is nucleus. P is what? The nucleus. Nucleus is what? The control center of the cell or the brain of the cell. Right? Now this U. U is something which is larger. Larger here you can see. It occupies the more space. So your U will be what? U will be vacuole. Vacuole is the specific feature for the plant cell. In the animal cell, either it is not present or if it is present in the smaller number. Right? Here it is large. Because of this, even the nucleus is pushed to the periphery. Right? Now let us see more things here. Now here Q. Q is what? Q is something which is present besides the nucleus. So it is present beside the nucleus. That means whatever the nucleus is producing, that needs to get packaged and that needs to get supplied. Okay. So basically your Q is Golgi apparatus. Okay. Golgi apparatus or the Golgi complex. Right. Now there is a network like connection which is present here beside the nucleus with T. So this T is what? This T is your endoplasmic reticulum, ER. In short, we write it ER. Right. The next is what? R. R is what? Main arena for all the chemical reaction which takes place in the cell, that is cytoplasm. Right. So which labeling is left? V. V is what? V is a kind of endomembrane system. It is lysosomes. Okay. Lysosomes are what? Lysosomes are the suicidal bags. Okay. Basically the suicidal bags which helps in the autophagy. Right. S. S is what? Here the S is a double membrane bound structure which is present in the plant cell specifically. That is chloroplast. So now with the given information, let us put all these options here and find out which is going correct. Okay. So we say that P is nucleus. Here the nucleus is given with C, D and A. So that means this option is any which way is eliminated. Now we say that Q is Golgi apparatus. Okay. So P is nucleus, Q is Golgi apparatus. Here Q is written chloroplast, wrong. Q is written rough endoplasmic reticulum, that is also wrong. Okay, so basically the option D so far is going right. Okay, let us see further. R is what? Cytoplasm. Yes, that is what we have discussed. S is chloroplast. T is endoplasmic reticulum. We haven't mentioned rough because the diagram is not that clear, but yes, obviously it is rough endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, U is vacuole and V is lysosomes. So the options are fitting appropriately. The answer is D. Okay, solve the organelle mystery. Now the organelle mystery we have to solve. That they have given some statement, we have to collaterate with the particular functions. Now see, dash is called as the ribosome factory of the cell. Basically the ribosomes are getting produced somewhere. So where these ribosomes are getting produced? Ribosomes are getting produced in nucleolus. Nucleolus is the integral part of the nucleus. This is not a nucleus, but it is having an integral part, that is nucleolus. The space surrounding the grana. Grana is present in the chloroplast, right? Space surrounding the grana is known as what? It is known as stroma. It is known as stroma. Okay. A granum is a stack of dash. Granum is a stack of thylakoids. Okay. It is the stack of thylakoids. Okay. Found in chloroplast of the plant cell, right? Dash are the pigments located in the thylakoids. Which are the pigments which are present? Chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the pigment which is present in what? Which is present in chloroplast. So now accordingly, let us check and fit it again in the our options. Okay. So one is plastered. No, one is not plastered. Second one is trauma. Yes, that is right. Second one is trauma. And the next option says that third is thyroid. Okay, this is somewhere right. Let us move further. One, endoplasmic reticulum, wrong. Second of endoplasmic reticulum, wrong. Okay. So see, the paper discussion always doesn't mean that we have to just go through the answers. Here you can understand the technique also, because you have too many questions and the limited time. So how to do elimination, how to quickly check the options, how to recheck the questions, that is also something which is logically you should know. So that is what we are doing here, so that you understand the process during that time. Okay. Moving further, the next questions. Okay, so basically this is some chart which is given here, and accordingly we have to find out. Now this chart looks complex, but it is little easier when we will go one by one. Okay, so the flow chart is related with what? The plant. Fine. Cells of the plant tissue divide throughout life to help in growth of the plant. Now basically the plant tissue have broader two types. These two types are what? Tissue, meristematic tissue as well as the permanent tissue. Right? So now in this meristematic tissue, what happens in the meristematic tissues? Again, there are three types. Okay? Again, there are three types. So in that three types, the first one is what? The first one which is present at the apical portion. Okay? Which helps in the elongation. Elongation of what? Elongation, or maybe help in the increase of the height of the plant. Right? Now there is something which is present at the nodes. Okay? Nodes. So this is which is known as intercalary. Okay? It also helps in elongations, but elongation of the branches. Right? Now the third type of meristem. This is the first type. This is the second type, and the third type is present in the lateral region. Okay, this lateral region helps in the width, or you can say the girth of the plant. So basically, when the width is increasing in the plant, that is because of the lateral stem or the lateral meristematic tissue. Right. So these are the three types of tissues. Now moving forward with the permanent tissue. In the permanent tissue, what we have? In the permanent tissue, we have again two types: simple and the complex permanent tissue. So now the simple permanent tissue means which is having same type of tissues which are present. Okay. So it is again further divided into three types. Three types are parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. What does parenchyma do? Parenchyma helps in what? Parenchyma has chloroplast. Okay, so it helps in storage. It helps in photosynthesis. Right. Now collenchyma. Collenchyma helps in what? It helps in flexibility, or you can say in the elasticity. Right. Sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma is a dead structure. Okay. So if it is a dead structure, it can only provide protection, or you can say the mechanical support. Not functional at all with the physiology of the plant. Right. Why I have told you? Because the next question is also relating with particular topics. So we have discussed the types. Now let us come back to the question. Okay. So now cells of the plant divide throughout life, so help in growth of the plant. If they don't divide, that means it is not a meristematic tissue, because meristematic tissue is something which is dividing. So that means this P might be a permanent tissue. Okay, might be a permanent tissue, because the statement says that they don't divide. Now if they divide, yes, but they divide, they help in longitudinal growth of plant. So if they help in longitudinal growth of the plant, if they are not helping, then what are they? If they are helping, then we are moving forward. Now, when they are helping, but they are present in the internodes. So, see, in internodes, what we have seen? Internodes, the intercalary is present. Okay. They say here, they doesn't support the longitudinal growth. Longitudinal growth means in height, they are not supporting. That means it will be lateral, according to our discussion. And here, they help in longitudinal growth, but they are not present at the intercalary space. They might be present at the apical tip. So it will be apical meristem. Now let us see if we can put all these options here in the solution or not. Okay. So basically P is permanent tissue. That's what we have predicted. Right. Q is lateral because it is helping in the girth. Okay. Then R. R is what? The apical meristem. And S is what? The intercalary. So basically your answer which is correct is option A. Moving forward to the next question, it is again related to the plant tissue, right? With the previous discussion. So which of the following statement is incorrect? So parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. These are types of what? Simple permanent tissue. Just now I have explained. So parenchyma cells store food materials in the form of protein, starch, oils and fats. Yes, that is right. Collenchyma provides elasticity, or you can say the flexibility, right, to the plants. That is also right. Why it need to provide flexibility? It need to provide flexibility because whenever the wind is moving, okay, or whenever there is a storm, okay, so in that case obviously they doesn't have a locomotion power, so they cannot move from one place to another, so they have to survive in that particular condition. So at that time, if the bending or something is happening due to that wind, so what they will do, they will bend, and then due to elasticity they will again bounce back to their normal position. So because of that, collenchyma is present. So this is also right. Sclerenchyma provides mechanical support. Yes, it provides mechanical support because it is a dead structure. It cannot do anything else. It has to provide the support only, right? So basically, any incorrect statement is there? No. None of the statement is incorrect. So the answer is option B. Right. So the next is ultimate taxonomy treasure hunt. Right. So basically, this taxonomy, that means it is related something to your plant kingdom. So if you have learned related to plant kingdom, so you know their evolution. Now they are the basic 5 types, okay? Thylophytes, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperm and angiosperm, right? So let us move further with this plant body differentiated. If it is not differentiated, that means it is very primitive. Very primitive means the algae, okay? Or you can say the thylophytes. Okay. After the thallophytes with vascular, now the plant body is differentiated. Yes, that means all other evolutionary, whatever the organisms we have, that comes into our selection. Okay. Now with vascular tissue, that means vascular tissue is present. If vascular tissue is present, we have to move forward. If not present, those who doesn't have the vascular tissue, they are what? They are the bryophytes. Okay. Moving further. Okay, so Q may be a bryophyte. Now coming again, if they have a vascular tissue, but in that vascular tissue, if they produce seed and if they doesn't produce seed, if they doesn't produce seed, that means they are the pteridophytes. Okay. And if they produce seed, but the seed is enclosed in the ovary, if it is enclosed in the ovary, then it is an angiosperm. But if it is not enclosed in the ovary, that means it is a gymnosperm. Okay, if you don't remember all the type of examples for these kind of plant kingdoms or these kind of phylums, but at least some of them we can identify. Okay, that is algae. Algae is what? Spirogyra. With the first option only you can mark it. That algae is what? Algae is something which is a spirogyra. So this is right. But any which ways we will move further. Move further means with the easy one, angiosperm. You read it very commonly from 7th standard, you start reading, this is hibiscus, right? So this is also right. Now the next one is what? Bryophyte, pteridophyte as well as the gymnosperm. The Furania, Bryopteris and the cycas, okay? So these all are going right. So here the option or the correct answer is B, right? Moving further, energy versus natural flow. Okay, so basically it is related with the active and the passive transport across the plasma membrane, right? So active transport means what? Where the energy is utilized. Passive transport means something which is happening with the concentration gradient. So this is a direct application question. Active transport is found in animals, whereas passive transport no. Active transport require energy, where the passive transport follows the concentration gradient. Yes, this is right. Active transport is connected with cation, whereas passive transport connected with anions. No, that is not a reason only. Active transport is random, whereas no, this is also not right. So basically the suitable answer or the most appropriate one is B. Right? Microscopic drama of water movement and cell survival. Ali performed an experiment in which he put two different cells. That is, one is P and the another one is Q. Right? In a pure water. Now they have given the medium that it is a pure water. Right? P swells up and bursts eventually, while the cell Q becomes tight. Now see, first of all, we have to make two beakers to assume this, that P and Q. So assuming this is my P cell and this is a Q cell. Okay. So because they say that it is a pure water, since it is a pure water, so I am understanding that it is a hypotonic condition. Hypotonic condition means outside what is present outside the concentration gradient is low. So molecules will move from the lower concentration gradient to the higher concentration gradient, right? So what they will do? So molecules will come inside. Since it is coming inside, in the both cases, they are coming inside. And what they are doing? They are trying to swell the cell. So cell is swollen. Now, because of the cell wall, okay, which is present, cell wall. If the cell wall is present, what it will do? It will help the plant to be rigid or to help the cell to be rigid. But if so, cell wall is absent. So in that case, it will burst. It will burst out because now the cell wall is not present in animal cell, but it is present in the plant cell. So in plant cell, what happens in the plant cell? Because of this kind of condition, because of endoosmosis, what is happening? The rigidity or the turgidity is provided to a cell. But in case of animal cell, what is happening? In animal cell, there is plasmolysis, or you can say the bursting of the cell which is happening. So now let us read the question. Which of the following is the most appropriate inference? Inference means the experiment has been performed. Now what we have concluded further. Cell sap of cell P is isotonic to the isotonic is not possible. Okay. First of all, if it is isotonic, then there should not be any change. Okay, movement will take place, but there won't be any change. But here we have seen that they are telling that already it is burst or already it is swollen. So that is not the case. Cell sap of cell Q is isotonic. Again, same reason it is not possible. So A and B are eliminated. Now cell P has been obtained from plant. Cell P. If cell P is obtained from plant, how it is burst? Okay, how can it burst? It cannot. Because if it is from the plant cell have a cell wall, and if their plant cell is having a cell wall, it cannot burst. It will be rigid, but it cannot burst. Okay, so this is also wrong. Cell Q is bacterium. Yes, it can be because bacteria have a cell wall. Okay, and the cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. Right. So obviously it makes sense that Q becomes tight, or you can say rigid or firm, but it doesn't burst. Okay, but it doesn't burst. Right. So here we conclude our discussion for biology. I hope you all have enjoyed. Right. So now after this, the maths teacher will come and he can start with the discussion. Right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you to my dear colleague. Hi students, this is Nikhil. In the first session, Mega ResoFAST was conducted. Now it's a time for paper discussion. We will start with mathematics question. Question 1. If 3748x plus 5467y is given, you have to find x minus y. Okay, only x minus y is given. You have to find out. Sorry, given is you have to find out. So 3748x plus 567y is 10,085, and 1731x plus 734y is 4034. Find x minus y. Let us check if we can get x minus y. You subtract the equations. Here we are getting 7102x minus 7 minus 4, 5 4 6 7 7 8 4. Okay, 3 16 minus 8 is 8. Okay, because this 5 4 6 7, we are doing subtraction over here. 7484 minus 5467, we have 7 1 again 0 2017, 2017 y equals to what we are getting. We have to check 6051 we are getting after subtracting. 2017x minus 2017y equals 6051. So if you take 2017 common into x minus y, and this is a multiple of
3, 6051. So x minus y we are getting left here 3. Option D is correct here. X minus y is 3. Next, statistics. Mean of 25 observation is 36. If the mean of first 13 observations is 32 and that of last 13 is 39, then the 13th observation. So let us say these are 25 observations. This is 13th observation. So for first 25 we will see sum of 25 observations by total observation is 36, means sum of 25 observation will be 900. Sum of all 25 observations, 36 into 25. Now mean of first 13 means sum of 13th observation, all 13 observations divided by 13 is 32. Sum of 13 observation will be 32 into 13, that is 416. Okay, 320 into 19 plus 96. Last 13, again sum of last 13 by 13 is 39. So sum of last 13 is 39 into 30, that is 390 plus 117. So 701 carry 507. Okay, so overall sum of all these two will be 416 plus 507, that is 925. So 923. But if you see 13th term is here also and here also, means that is quantity twice 13th term. Otherwise the accurate sum is 900. So that extra 13 term will be 923 minus 900, that is 23. So that 13th observation is 23. Next, if p is 5 plus 2 root 6, q is 1 by p, find p square plus q square. First find q. 1 by 5 plus 2 root 6. Rationalize it. So 5 minus 2 root 6 in denominator, a plus b, a minus b means a square minus b square. 5 is 25, 2 is 4, root 6 is 6. 25 minus 24 is 1. So 5 minus 2 root 6. We need p square plus q square, means 5 plus 2 root 6 plus 5 minus 2 root 6. So in this plus 2ab and minus 2ab will be cancelled. So 2a square plus 2b square means 2 times a square plus b square, that is 2 times 5 square plus 2 root 6 square. So 2 times 25 plus 24, that is 2 into 49, 98. 2 into 49, 98 the option. Choose the factor of this term. Factor. Okay, lengthy process. So what we can do is we start by expanding the terms. 1 minus x square, 1 minus y square plus 4xy. Let us see what we can find out. So if you multiply 1 into 1 minus y square, minus x square into 1 is minus x square, minus is plus x square y. Let us divide 4xy as 2xy plus 2xy. Okay, now we'll form some pair. So 1 plus x square y square plus 2xy, one pair, and see these terms are negative. If you take minus common, x square plus y square, and if you keep 2xy, that will also minus, then minus minus will become plus. So this, if you see 1 square x square y square, will get 1 plus xy whole square, a square b square 2ab, and it is x minus y whole square, a square b square minus 3ab. Again one more identity, a square minus b square. So it will be a plus b and a minus b minus x and plus y, minus will change the sign. Now see what is coming here. 1 plus xy plus x minus y, this is there. But second option is not there, minus x plus y. So this is one of the factors. So A option is correct here. A option is correct here. Next, the value of this expansion. See, these are 4 terms involved. Okay, and if you check here, 3 into 2 is 6 and root 3 square plus root 2 square plus 1 square. If you do, you will get 6. Okay, this means this is the form of a plus b plus c whole square, where a you can take root 3, b you can take root 2, and c you can take 1 in any order. Because see 2ab means root 3 into root 2 6, 2 root 6 is there, root 2 into 1 is 2 root 2, this 2 root 2 is also there, root 3 into 1 is root 3, and 2 root 3 is also there. This means this term is a perfect square of root 3 plus root 2 plus 1 whole square. And same here, root 6, so root 6 is root 3 into root 2, and if you check root 3 square plus root 2 square, we will get 5. A square plus b square minus 2ab. This means this term is the root of 3 minus root 2 whole square. There also square cancelled, here also square cancelled. So it is root 3 plus root 2 plus 1 minus divided by root 3 minus root 2. Rationalize it. Root 3 plus root 2 by root 3 plus root 2. So this is root 3 a minus b plus b. 3 minus 2 is 1. So root 3 plus root 2 plus 1 minus will change the sign. Minus root 3 minus root 2. Plus root 3 minus root 3 cancelled. Plus root 2 minus root 2 cancelled. Only 1 is left. So D option 1 is correct. Okay. Next. If C is parallel to DB in the given figure, find the value of X. Okay. So 110, 30, entire angle is 75. Okay. Entire angle is 75. So if you check this angle by angle property, this angle 110 and 30 is 140, and 180 minus 40 is 40 degree. This angle is 40 degrees. This angle is 40 degrees. Entire is 75. This means this is 35. And again, if you use angles and property here, 60 plus 35 is 95. So this will be 85 degrees. And it is given that C and DB are parallel. So if these two sides are parallel, this means these two are alternate angles, alternate linear angles. So X is also 85 degree. X is also 85 degree. Option D is correct. Next, if triangle ABC, in triangle ABC, AD is median, which the following relation holds good. Okay, let to check. Either AB plus AC is equals to or greater than 2AD, or equals to AD less than 2AD greater than 2AD. So if you extend somewhere this line, let us say we extend it to E point, such that AD and DE are equal. AD and DE are equal. And let us join these two sides. Okay, let us join these two sides. So these two are equal, median, midpoint, vertically opposite angles, and these two are we are holding the construction part. Median, construction. So SAS, angular congruent, triangular congruent. Let us take AB and CE are equal by CPCT. AB and CE are equal. Okay. And if you see, now because these two sides are equal here, AB and CE. So we have to check which relation holds good here. Which relation holds good here. Okay. Now if you check these two triangles also, these two triangles, this one and this one. Okay, these two sides are equal. This is common. Okay, this side is common, and see we cannot hold here. These two sides are equal. These angles, this side is common. Okay, so now we have to check how AD is more than AB plus AC. Okay, this means that AD, see, because CE, AE, if you check AE, AE is almost twice of AD. AE is almost, because AD and DE are equal. So if you compare entire AE, that is twice of AD. So in that case, check cos CE, this is the longest angle. CE is greater than AE. This means AB is also greater than AD. And if AB is greater than AD, this means AC is also greater than AD. So when if add AB plus AC will be twice greater than twice of AD. Both of them. Okay. Next, a field in the shape of a trapezium whose parallel sides are 50 and 15. These are parallel sides. Okay. Let us say this is 15, 50 and this is 15 meters. And non-parallel sides are 20 and 25. Find the area of the field. So well, let us draw a parallel side here. This is also 20. By symmetry, this is 15, this is also 15. And this left is 35. 15 minus 15 is 35. Okay. So if we have the height, we'll add the area of parallelogram plus triangle and we can have the entire area. So first we'll use Heron's formula here. 20, 25, 35. A is 20, B is 25, C is 35. S is A plus B plus C by 2. That is 80 by 2 means 40. So area will be square root of 40 into 40 minus 20, 20, 40 minus 25, 15, 40 minus 35 is 5. So 40 you can write as 20 into 2 is 20 that it is. 15 you can write as 5 into 3. So you can take 20 common and 5 common. 20 to 5 is 100. So 100 root 6 area of that triangle. And one more formula is there, half into base into height. So half into base is 35. You have to find height only. So 100 into 2 is 200. So 200 root 6 by 35 is height. Okay. So triangle area we already know. That is 100 root 6. This parallelogram we have to find out. And base is, for parallelogram it is 15. So 15 into height is 200 root 6 by 35. So 5 to 3, 5 to 7, or 203, 600 root 6 by 7 for parallelogram. That one. So entire area will be 600 root 6 by 7 plus 100 root 6. Okay. If you take the LCM here, 100 into 7 is 700. 700 plus 6 is 1300. So 1300 root 6 by 7. 1300 6 by 7. Option C. Okay. Next, same question, area of triangle है quadrilateral. Find the area of quadrilateral whose sides are 9, 40, 20 and 15 and first angle between first two sides the right angle. This is a good hint. So first two sides are 40 and 9, other is 20 and 15. Okay, there is a 20 here and 15 here. So this is the right angle sides. Okay. So if you apply Pythagoras theorem here, that side will be 41 by using Pythagoras theorem. The area of this is half into 40 into 9, that is 180 area of this. This you can find from Heron's formula. 41, 15 and 28. S will be 41 plus 15 plus 28 by 2, that is 84 by 2, 42. So area will be S into S minus A. 42 minus 1, 41, 1. 42 minus 15, 27. 42 minus 28 is 14. 42 you can write as 14 into 3. 27 you can write as 9 into 3 and 14 as it is. 14 you can take common. 3 you can take common and square root of 9 is also 3. 14 into 9 is 126. So entire area will be 180 plus 126. That is 306 meters square. C option. Okay. Next. The given figure QU is a diameter and arc QR is equal to arc P. What is the value of x plus y? Okay. See, PRST is a quadrilateral, 4 sides and all 4 points PRST touching the circle. So this is cyclic quadrilateral, all 4 points are touching. And if it is cyclic quadrilateral, then sum of opposite angle is 180. So this is 50, this is y. So 50 plus y is 180. This means y is 130 degree. Y is 130 degrees. Okay, this is 130 degree. And if you check, because Q is a diameter, this angle will be 90 degree. Angle is semicircle. Property is there, and this is 50. And if you see, this arc are same, means this angle and this angle is also equal because arc length is same. This means if this is x, this is also x. So 50 plus x is 90, 2x is 40, x is 20. So x plus y is 20 plus 130, that is 150 degrees. Option C, 150 degrees. Next, what is the area of the pentagon shown? Okay, so if you connect this side, this is 8, this is also 8. Okay, this is a rectangle. L into B is the area, 24. Okay, L into B. And if you connect this is a Pythagoras right angle triangle. This is 8, this is 4. And if you use Pythagoras theorem, 5, 4, this will be 3. So area will be half into base is 8 and height is 3. So 12, so 24 plus 12, that is 36. Or alternatively, you can use Heron's formula also here if you want 855. Same way you will get 12, 24, 12. 24 plus 12 is 36 centimeters squares. Next, the base area of two right circular cylinders are shown in the ratio of 2:3 and heights are in the ratio of 5:3. Choose the ratio of their volumes. Okay, so let us take half cylinder is there, pi r1 square h1 by pi r2 square h2. Okay, ratio is cancelled. So ratio of base area is 2:3, means r1 ratio r2 is 2:3. If you do squares, r1 square and r2 square, we will get 4:9. This means this will be 4 by 9, r1 by r2 square. And ratio of height is 5:3. So 5 by 3. So 20 by 27. 20 by 27 or 20:27. Okay. Next, triangle ABC and ABD are equilateral triangles. ABC and ADB are equilateral triangles. Find the coordinates of C and D. You have to find the coordinate of C and D. Okay. So this is A because 0 comma A. This is also 0 comma A. This length is A. This length is also A. Okay. This means that because ABC is an equilateral triangle, this side is 2A. This means this is also 2A, 2A, 2A and 2A. Okay. This length we don't know. Find the coordinate because this coordinate will be x comma 0. So this is right angle triangle. Here it is 90. So if this is x, this means 2a square equals to a square plus x square. 2a square equals to a square plus, so 4a square equals to a square plus x square, means 3a square equals to x square, or x will be root 3a, means this point will be root 3a comma 0, and if you go negative side, that is minus root 3a comma 0. So a root 3 comma 0 minus a root 3 comma 0. D option is correct here. Now next question, 0.2317 is expressed in the form of P by Q. So 0.2317 means 2317 by 10,000. Okay. What are the values of M and N? If it is in the form of 2 raised to power n into 5 raised to power 5. 10,000 means 10 raised to power 4. And 10 you can write as 2 into 5. This means 2 raised to power 4 into 5 raised to power 4, means n is m, 4 and m is also 4. So 4 comma 4 is the correct answer here. 4 comma 4 is the correct answer. Okay. So that is the entire discussion of mathematics portion. Now let us go for the mental ability part. Question 1. A number series is given. After the series below it in the next line, a number is followed by P, Q, R, S, T. You have to complete the series with the number given following the sequence, and what will come in the place of T. This is missing here. Okay, this is missing. Pattern is 12, 28, 64, 140. The question mark is given. Okay, so 12, 28. Check 12 into 2 plus 4. If you do, you will get 28. 28 into 2 plus 8. If you do, you will get 64. 64 into 2 plus 12. If you are doing, you are getting 140. Means if you do 140 into 2 plus 16, The next number will come here. 20 plus 16 is 296. 296 A option. Okay. Next, 3 comma 18 comma 219 it is 1 lakh 5. Okay. So if you see, the number is very close to the square number. 216, 219, 216 is very near. So here it is normal perfect number. Here it is square, it is cube. So if you check 2 raised to power 1 plus 1, for 18, if you do 4 square plus 2, you're getting 80. For this, if you do 6 cube plus 3, you're getting 219. Means if you want next number, that could be 8 raised to power plus 4. Okay, 8 raised to power 4 plus 4. And 8 raised to power 4 is 8 with 5 and 2. So 5 and 2 into 8. That is 60. 8, sorry, 5 and 2. That is 4096. And plus 4 if you do, we're getting 4100. Okay, we're getting 4100. Option D. Okay. Next. This is a syllogism question. Okay. Conclusion statement is given, conclusion is given. You have to check which one is correct here. You have to check. So statement is only a few rides are trip. Only a few rides are in there, trips are here. And no trip is mountain. Okay, no trip is mountain. So there are three scenarios here. Mountain can be here also without connecting the rides. Okay, and it can be possible like this also. T, R, and some of the rides can be mountain here. These two possibilities are there. And all mountains are trees. All again, trees can connect rides here also, and here also it can connect. So first, some of trees are not trip. That is correct because no trip is mountain and all mountains are tree. This means tree can never be trips. Some of the trees, not all trees. Okay. And all rides being trips is not a possibility. All rides being a trip is not a possibility. Correct? Because it is given that only few rides are trip. All rides cannot be trip. So both are correct here. So RT option says both conclusion 1 and 2 false. Both. Next. Only a few Sundays are Mondays. Only a few Sundays are Mondays here. Some Mondays are Tuesdays. Let us take some Mondays are Tuesdays. And no Tuesdays are Fridays. Friday can be here also, can be separate also, can be with one also, can be with this also. That we have to check. So first conclusion says no, some Sundays are not Mondays. Okay, some Sundays are not Mondays. That is correct because only a few Sundays are Mondays. So remaining Sundays are not Monday. That is correct only because this portion is there. Na? This is not Monday. Second says some Sundays are not Fridays. So in this case, if you see, Sundays are not Fridays. In this case also it is not there. But if you keep Friday here, then some Sundays are definitely Fridays. Some Sundays are definitely Fridays. So we are not sure. One case is there. We are not sure. We are not getting precise result. So second, it can be or cannot be. It's not true. Only first statement is entirely true, which is option B. Only conclusion 1 4. Okay. Last. Only few laptops are computers. Only few laptops are computers. No computer are keys. So key you can have separate section circle or you can have intersection with the laptop also. And few keys are mobiles. So keys mobiles you can place separately here also, here also. So mobile can be part of laptop keys, laptop. So first conclusion, some mobiles are computers. Because no computers are keys, so there is no possibility that mobile can connect with computer. Because all overlapping with computer. No intersection. First is not correct. All computer being laptop is a possibility. Okay. So only few laptops are computer. But if you see here also, and one more case if you draw computer inside, that is also correct because few laptops are computer. But if you see reverse side, computers can be laptop, all computers. So this means the second is a possibility, is there, it is there, possibility. The word is possibility. Okay, it is not asking entire solution. So second is correct. So only conclusion to follows here. Okay. So this is the overall discussion for maths plus mental ability, and we hope that you got good result in the Mega ResoFAST. Thank you for joining in.